All right, it is 10:16, and as Vice Chair of the Anoka County HRA, I will be leading this conversation today. So welcome, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order, and we will first start by taking roll call.
Trustee Heinrich? Here. Trustee Brasted?
Here.
Trustee Reinert?
Here.
Trustee Schulte?
Here.
Trustee Jepson?
Here.
Trustee Meisner?
Here.
Thank you for that roll call. And so first item on the agenda is for approval of the last March 25 of 2025 minutes. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, that was a motion made and seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Thank you. That moves forward. I have no chair's remarks today, and so we will move into the Anoka County HRA Management Committee report. Tanya, do you have anything to contribute? Sorry, yep.
Did you just call me?
Yeah, I just wondering if you have anything to report before we get into the action items.
No.
Okay, thank you. So the first action item is the committee is recommending approval of the purchase of certain real property in the amount of $1.5 million in local affordable housing aid funds and authorize the Anoka County HRA Executive Director to negotiate as needed for support of this proposed project. And to provide a little bit background for this project, it is not a guaranteed to be spent on this amount of money, but will definitely, if the project does not get approval with Minnesota Housing, we will not, the HRA will not put these dollars into the purchase price of this parcel of land.
Correct. It's really two items. One is the developer is requesting that we use some of the home funds that that you guys already authorized to purchase the property as the HRA and then donate to them. And then the second part is the additional funding from the LAHA program.
Yeah.
So it's kind of two things, but they want us to do those things for them so that they can get additional points, hopefully get additional points in the low-income housing tax credit round that's coming up in July.
So, and just to clarify, this is definitely what these dollars were used for. It's not taxpayer dollars, it's not levy dollars, it's purely for the purpose of these local affordable housing aid.
Yeah, the local affordable housing aid is the metro-wide sales tax. So it's a sales tax and it's just collected on our behalf and then distributed based on a formula.
Okay,
So.
thank you. So we're just talking about one aspect of the two-pronged project, so.
Yeah, you're basically, if you approve this, you'd be allowing me to negotiate with them to enter into a purchase agreement to help to buy the property for them using the home funds and then also negotiating with them on potentially giving them additional $1.5 million in the LAHA aid.
Wonderful, thank you. Trustee Meisner.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, and just, I guess, again, I know we talked in-depthly about this at the meeting, but this is essentially the chance for competition.
Right.
That's all that this is. It's just allowing them to compete by them accumulating these points that are very, structured. And then from there, we'll see if they actually win that bid.
Yes, Chair and Trustee Meisner. That is exactly right. The low-income housing tax credit round or financing go through that application process is very competitive. Typically, they have 45 or 50 applications, and basically they can fund like 10.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I'm sorry, just a follow-up comment then too. I mean, I know I said this in the committee, but I really commend particularly your knowledge and creativity to do this, because allowing them to even compete, we haven't had this type of project. I think you said 15 years in Anoka County, and so to be able to offer an affordable housing project that is, pretty big, it's fantastic. So thank you again.
Yeah. I give the credit of the creativity to the developer, knowing how how that program works and how the point system works and stuff to make it work. I know that there's quite a few questions about how we actually make this happen, and that's part of why we changed it from just authorizing me to do everything to authorizing to negotiate and then get us to that point so that we can do what we need to do to give them what they need to apply in July. So
Yeah.
But if they don't get tax credits, I know they're probably gonna just walk away from this site and be done, and then
Right.
this would all be mute at that point. Hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully this will be creative enough for them to get enough points to do it. The big hamstring is that the state puts a lot of focus in their point system on transportation. And there's not really any place, including Columbia Heights, where we're doing the other project, that really gets those transportation points, because they want a bus line that runs every 15 minutes. And we don't control any of that, so that's, it's very difficult to find anywhere in this county, or, I mean, other than the core cities, there's not really buses that do that.
Thank you. Trustee Schulte.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of a struggle supporting this. We're putting a lot of money into this. It's a workaround. We're putting a Band-Aid on something, and I understand your reasoning why. But we've got to find a better way to do this. Maybe we need to get to who's ever scoring this and convince them that, transit's not the only thing, and we've got to find a better way to score transportation or transit. But we're putting too many eggs in this one basket. We've got to find a different way to do it. I'm not comfortable with this. We've got more communities that need this low-income housing. So I'm not comfortable with this. I probably won't be supporting this one.
Understood.
Trustee Reinhardt.
I guess to that point, would you like for this to come back for further discussion on that, rather than just have it possibly pass and then maybe lose opportunity for more distribution of those dollars?
Well, I'm not sure we're going to lose opportunity to distribute the dollars. There are dollars. We'll be able to distribute them many times in many different ways. We just have to figure out where and how. The dollars aren't going to go away. There are dollars.
No, I guess that my point was that you made a comment that it's concentrated on this one project a little too much, and I guess I'm willing to have that conversation if you'd like to pull this back for more debate on it.
I'm more than willing to continue to talk about this. I'm not ready. This doesn't look like it's where I want to spend this money. I want to spend it where it meets the criteria that they're looking for in this program. Right now, we're dancing around the edges of this program to try and make it fit. We're trying to find ways to make this work in a program, to make this company qualify. And even now, we're saying they might not qualify. I mean, we're trying to create a way to make this program work, and I'm not comfortable with that. I want to find a program that truly qualifies, that we tick all the boxes without dancing around the edges.
Trustee Meisner and then Trustee Breasted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Trustee Reinhardt. So we actually don't have that option to pull back and kind of delay, because this is on a very tight timeline. So if we decide not to move this forward, I'm just saying, like, there's not an opportunity to quote unquote bring it back. I think is it June 1st? That's the
July.
July, I'm sorry. So a very tight timeline. So that's not, when I say it's not an option, I'm saying if we decide again not to move that forward today by support, then it's not ever going to be moving forward. And then to Trustee Schulte. So yeah, I know that we kind of talked about that in the meeting too, or you mentioned your concerns. I do agree with you in terms of an and approach, like absolutely. I think the criteria and the vetting system absolutely needs to change. But until that happens, so we can be doing that. I mean, transportation, we're fighting all the time for the same types of issues where the structure just, we're always losers in Anoka County because we can't meet those qualifications. So that is a good example for something like this as well. I know that for transportation, we pride ourselves in being creative to figure out, well, how can we make sure that these are funded for projects that are needed in Anoka County? So I believe that it should be the same across the board, in particular for affordable housing, because we've been so far behind for so many years. So while I appreciate that concern, I will be supporting this for those reasons, and I hope that my colleagues today will join me. Again, this is just an ability for them to compete, to have a substantial affordable housing unit in Anoka County that is, data shows it is much needed.
Trustee Breasted and then County Administrator. Dickinson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree with Trustee Schulte's concerns. When we voted for the first 2 million, I was concerned, and now to throw another 1.5 after the same project, I'm also very uncomfortable with that, so we'll not be supporting it.
All right.
Just one comment relative to this application falls under the program as it's currently devised. I believe a good time to discuss these types of issues would be as we put together our legislative plan. That would be, put together a concerted initiative from the entire board on how we can go through and make positive change to these types of programs. I believe that would be an appropriate way to go for this. But right now, you're going to have to work under the current programs as they are devised. You may not agree with those programs, but that's what we have right now, so.
Well, can I just add a couple things? This housing definitely meets all the criteria of the LAHA funding. And so that's one of the things that I had talked to you guys a little bit about needing to, I think, come together and do a workshop with you to kind of help me to figure out exactly how to do this. But it just seemed to make sense since we're using that first round on developing affordable housing in Columbia Heights, that it seemed like you guys were sort of behind the idea of at least using some of the funds for that purpose. So that's why I brought it forward to you too. And just the challenges of some of the, the cities don't necessarily have all the resources that they could provide to developers either. And so we're probably going to see more of that come to us or come to the county to sort of have us do more for them if we can, because the cities don't have as many resources as to help the developers get these points in Minnesota Housing. I've had many conversations with Minnesota Housing staff and did comments on their plan on how they do all the pointing, and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. I hate to say that, but I've had pretty heated conversations with a few of the staff there going, like, you can't just keep, all they're doing, in my personal opinion, is sort of concentrating poverty by having basically the main two cities take everything, or the very internal parts of the metro area take on a lot of the housing just the way they have it set up. So I've had a lot of philosophical conversations with them about that. But I understand your points and definitely want to have you guys help me figure out how to best balance all of the needs and the wants from people coming in the door too. This just seemed to be, since we'd already, invested in the project, that it made sense to bring it back to you. Again, they may or may not, even if they get the funding, I'm going to go under and underwrite this project. They may not get the whole 1.5 million. They may not need it all, depending on how they get all their other stuff put together. So,
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, I absolutely understand and absolutely respect your comments. It's never a good thing to try and fit around or through or try to adapt a grant request. But I also feel that, like you said, we will always get dinged for transportation because we don't have it. We don't have it. So using these dollars, if we can get them or get them to help get the company a higher score, I feel like we have to do, because our inventory for low-income housing is so low, that this is a good opportunity to not only help the community where the city of Blaine, where they are very supportive of the project, the surrounding nonprofit of Alexandra House. There's a school right there. It is in our geography, a good location, even though there isn't transit right there. So I will be supporting this with the understanding that if they don't get funded, this project won't happen. Part of this project won't happen. So with that, no more questions or comments. Last option, and then we will we have a motion and a second.
Not yet.
I will go ahead and move this. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
There has been a motion and a second. We will do a roll call vote.
Trustee Brasted?
Opposed.
Trustee Reinert?
Aye.
Trustee Schulte?
Opposed.
Trustee Jepson?
Aye.
Trustee Meisner?
Aye.
Trustee Heinrich?
Aye.
All right, so that moves forward with 4 ayes and 2 opposed. Thank you.
thank you.
The next item on?
Next item is a lease amendment. I'm gonna let Corey handle this one.
Okay. Yes, the next item is a lease amendment number 7 to contract C0005807 for a 1-year lease extension between the HRA and the State of Minnesota Department of Administrator acting on the behalf of the Department of Employment and Economic Development. This is in regards to rent revenue in the amount of $84,879.96 to the Blaine Human Services Center. Corey.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair, trustees. My name is Corey Kam from the Chief Financial Officer for Anoka County. With this lease going forward, we've had a lot of discussions with Deed over the last week or so. I know there was there were some issues that came up. We have sat down with admin, they've sat down with Deed, and we have resolved those issues. They will go back to using the rooms the way we wanted them to prior to 2 or 3 weeks ago or whatever, which caused some of that. And so we would like this extension to go through as is. This does give us a chance to extend them for the year as we are going through the analysis process for all leases, and doing a market study, which we are this fall planning to bring in a different plan for the Blaine Center, for Blaine Human Services Center, and what we should be charging people overall. And so this is kind of, again, that step, but then next year we will have a different plan around this. So,
Wonderful.
any questions?
All right, can I please get a motion to approve the lease amendment 7?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion. Can I get a second? I will second it. Any questions or comments? Yes.
I just want to thank Corey and Nicole for all their work on this. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Trustee Meisner.
Yeah, I agreed with Trustee Schulte, and then I'm just really happy. I think this is a fair and reasonable approach and gives every partner and relationship a chance to figure things out and plenty of time then for everyone to adjust. So thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Trustee Reinert.
Aye.
Trustee Schulte.
Aye.
Trustee Jepson.
Aye.
Trustee Meisner.
Aye.
Trustee Heinrich.
Aye.
Trustee Breasted.
Aye.
Excuse me 1 second. There was an informational item that we discussed about updating and the list of respondents to the request for proposals for development ownership partner for a housing development in Columbia Heights. Very exciting project that's being worked on, and so we will come up with a plan on how to choose that individual or company for that project. And there's one new business item to Resolution 25. I'm sorry, I am so discombobulated here.
It's hard to read. Was that?
Yeah, the resolution is 25017
It's a request from the city of Centerville.
for a resolution.
That's on the main agenda.
I'm sorry.
Just an action item.
Then what's the
I believe it's just an action item.
Resolution with their city council.
Oh, that's their resolution.
their
I
resolution.
apologize. Okay, thank you. So consider approving a request from the city of Centerville to use HRA funds in the amount of $50,000 for their revolving loan and grant program. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve
Move
that?
to adopt.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
This is a roll call vote.
Oh, sorry. Roll call vote.
Trustee Schulte.
Aye.
Trustee Jepson.
Aye.
Trustee Meisner.
Aye.
Trustee Heinrich.
Aye.
Trustee Breasted.
Aye.
Trustee Reinert.
Aye.
All right, and with that, unless there's nothing else to come before us, we stand adjourned.